Many yearned for it. Some were even willing to trade anything for a fresh start. 2022 was expected to be the year Ghanaians will make up for all that had been lost due to the coronavirus pandemic. After 2 years of living through restrictions and hardships caused by the pandemic, the new year presented a glimmer of hope. Even the government of Ghana at the time was certain of leading a successful recovery program. But little did many know that a decision in Moscow to invade Ukraine will make all economic indicators go south, plunging Ghanaians into hardships yet experienced in the country's history. Just like COVID-19, the invasion started as international news updates, then reports on evacuation of Ghanaian students.
I'm very happy. We fought a good fight. We were able to escape from Ukraine to Romania by walking, and then from Romania to Qatar, and then Qatar to Ghana. It was really not easy.
As the invasion continued, so did the Ghanaian economy deteriorate. Inflation, which started the year at 13.7%, was at 50.3% as at November. The cedi depreciated against the US dollar over 50%.
Fellow Ghanaians, as the French would say, l'argent n'aime pas le bruit. To wit, money does not like noise. Sika aime dédé. Where there's chaos, where there's noise, where there's unrest, you will not find money. If you talk down your money, it will go down.
Fuel, arguably the most talked about commodity, was going for 22 Ghana cedis to a litre as of November, before it began reducing and now being sold at 13 Ghana cedis 40 pesos. These problems took center stage in the political space, with government attributing the challenges to the Russia-Ukraine war, while the opposition National Democratic Congress accusing the government of being incompetent.
Us in Ghana, our reality is that our economy is in great difficulty. The budget drawn for the 2022 fiscal year, that is this year, has been thrown out of gear, disrupting our balance of payments and debt sustainability, and further exposing the structural weaknesses of our economy.
We have gathered for this launch at a time of great economic and social distress for the people of Ghana. The Akufo-Addo-led government that came to power on the back of mouth-watering promises to make life easier for Ghanaians and ensure rapid development of our country has so badly mismanaged the economy that we have been plunged into the most debilitating economic crisis in about 4 decades.
While the political games continued, Ghanaians were bearing the brunt. Prices of goods and services continued to skyrocket. Finding a driver's mate in a scuffle with a passenger was not a difficult one. In one of those instances at La Paz in Accra, a passenger was reported dead.
Amuto, fellow, big family of 5 cities, Newtown 4 cities. Pacho, obesi we mami, Malata, Pacho 4 cities, Pacho J.
7 Ghana cedi 50 pesos from Cycle to Agege.
The net effect of this hardship was a number of protests and strikes. In one of the protests organized by Arise Ghana, the police clashed with angry protesters. Private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu waged a campaign for the president and vice president to resign. The government did not mince words, expressing disquiet about the constant downgrading of the economy by major international rating agencies.
We need to guard against the continuing consequential stranglehold of the rating agencies, which has affected the cost and access to capital markets for African countries, and has during this COVID period resulted in the downgrading of many African countries, exacerbating even more their funding challenges.
Earlier this year, the government had a tough time passing the electronic transfer levy. Town hall meetings were held, and the government assured that a passage of the bill is essential for government to avoid a return to the International Monetary Fund.
But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you.
Despite strong opposition in Parliament, the government got the bill passed. But unable to meet the revenue target, official processes began for a return to the fund. The government has since July been engaging the fund in the staff level agreement has been reached. The government has also announced a domestic debt exchange program and suspension of payments of some international loans. The program has since been criticized by many, and labor unions have successfully gotten government to exempt their pensions from the domestic debt exchange. In Parliament, attempts to pass a vote of censure on Ken Ofori-Atta failed as the majority staged a walkout, even though some of them demanded his removal. The fate of Dome Kwabena MP Sarah Joseph still hangs in the balance as Parliament is yet to take a decision on whether her seat should be declared vacant or not following her continuous absence from Parliament.
I'm now back and back as a member of Parliament to continue my duties, and so today's the first day and I'm hoping that the subsequent weeks are going to be good.
Parliamentary election petition cases in Techiman South and Jomoro were dismissed, while that of Asen North was upheld and the MP James Jachikwason injuncted. The NPP and the NDC held its internal elections and returned with new set of executives. Stephen Intim and Justin Frimpong Kodia were elected as chairman and general secretary of the NPP. Johnson Esiodin Ketia and Fifi Fiavi Kwete were elected as chairman and general secretary of the NDC. The Galamsey conversation was brought back to the limelight, and the return of Aisha One into the jurisdiction heightened calls for the war against illegal mining to be won. An explosion during the transfer of mining explosives at Akpiate destroyed all structures in the town, killing and injuring some residents. Efforts are underway to rebuild the houses. The SIM re-registration exercise was a major political topic